Okay. Strange how one never tires of this posture. Yeah, let's just go up and down a little bit. Yeah, so just feel gravity pulling you down and then just squeeze up against that. Like you're stretching a piece of elastic when you come up. You don't want that elastic to break. It just stretches. It's got a nice sort of oozy feeling. And then here you just really control the down. I used to practice with those, those rubber bands, those big rubber bands, like one around each foot going across the opposite shoulder. So I was constantly being pulled down like this, but they're just a bit, I'm not as strong as I used to be. But you got a nice feeling of having to sort of push against an elastic pull. And so slowly the mind settles into the action. So feel the Dantian as like the focal point. And then feel the coccyx heavy. Yeah, so they're slightly different. The coccyx is what pulls you down, and this is just focusing, pulling at your energy, holding on to yourself. Get a grip, that sort of thing. Yeah, so just feel like the knees going apart. So it's splitting on these two planes here. And just try and feel each leg equal to the other. There's always one we prefer. Yeah, so the upper and lower body sort of meet here in the hips, the hip joints. So just feel this sinking, but also the ground rising. As you sink down, it's like you're drawing the ground up. So as the knees widen, this becomes like a vacuum that sucks the energy up. So I'm beckoning the ground up to here, but it's really, this is like the meeting place. Okay, so as you sink down, just pull the belly in a bit. So think of the spine rounding like this. So your tail is coming under a bit and your head is coming over. And then when you straighten the legs, you just go back the other way, if anything. So pulling here and pushing. Pull. Push. Pull. Push. 1, 2. So here you're pulling the Dantian in towards the Min Meng. So the Min Meng is protruding, if you like. And then here the Min Meng is tightening, pushing you into the Dantian. So you're breathing, your midriff, your Dantian area is breathing like a lung into the back, into the front, into the back, front. 1, 2. Okay, and back to here. Okay, now feel these two planes, these two joints, and just lean over and just feel this. It's as though this becomes the ground. The ground is come up into this place. And then here. So you want the feeling that your movements are conditioning the rubber of your legs. So like your legs are sort of rubbery. So as you sink into them, they're storing the energy and then they spring the energy back. And then begin to feel the sacroiliacs. So these two joints at the back here. So as I sink into the leg, something comes out here and down the outside. Yeah, so we're just trying to marry the upper and the lower body. And for that, you need tension here. It's the holding on here that binds your upper and lower. So just use your hand to sort of spread the energy from the min meng sort of sacroiliacs. So the sacroiliacs are connected to the min meng and the hips are connected to the dantian. So it's like you're distributing the energy that's coming out of the min meng, the ming men, down the outside of the legs, across the buttocks and down the outside. And just feel this sort of holding on you need here to get it to happen. Okay, now let's just go down and then up the inside. Down here, up the inside. So as you go into the leg, you're going down, and then as you come out of the leg, you're coming up into the leg here. Up. So just feel the tone that you need in the dantian to stop your bum sticking out. So it's down the outside and the sides, and up the inside and the front. And if you feel up to it, you can go all the way down. Yeah. Not sure I do. Traipsing up and down stairs all day yesterday.
The sound's gone, Stephen. I can't hear you.
The sound has gone.
Sound. Probably because this is flips over. Is that okay?
Come back.
Okay, okay. Yeah, sometimes it flips over. Ah, technology. Yeah, so if you think of gravity just pulling down, like raindrops just dropping. Yeah. So the ones that hit you will travel along your body. So they'll no longer be a simple downward. It's now shaped by you. So we have to be aware that this force that's pulling us down is not just pulling us down, it's pulling us through pathways that branch out from the spine. So you can think of the spine being this, just a drop, just a linear sort of fall down through you. And so this suspended and the coccyx heavy is what we're working on there. Again, that's very sort of like taking Newton's concept of gravity as being this universal impersonal force, just taking it to an extreme. Now, as soon as it comes into the body properly, and especially when we start moving around and turning, then we're distributing that force through the body. So it branches out at the hips and it branches out at the shoulders. Yeah. So we want to feel how it splits. Yeah. So this is what we were doing here. We were just getting this connected to, so the upper and the lower connected, so that we can feel this. Okay, and now just imagine your hand is just like a raindrop or something that's passing through you. Yeah. So you let it come down and then you just turn and throw it out. Yeah. So you're just using a simple turn to the left and then back again, just to get this force, or this energy, if you like, that's traveling through you, distributed across the hip and into the outside here. Yeah. So it's a bit like you've got a gun or here in a holster, or John used to talk about a quiver of arrows. Yeah. So you just let the hand come down as though it's dropping down your spine, and then a little turn here, and then a little turn back to send the arm out as big a circle as you can. Yeah, and then this one, so down, and then a turn here. Yeah, so what sort of action is required to distribute this sinking energy into the outside of the hip and then down the outside of the leg? This is what we're looking at. And it's not just what do I have to do, it's what sort of spirit, what sort of mind do I need? Yeah. So here, as you go out here, something in you has to really sort of charge up to get it to go out wide. Otherwise, it's just going to drop straight down through your coccyx down to the ground. Yeah, so in a sense, it's just looking at how we produce ward off. But we're working more really on the hips. It's just the arms. We use the arms because they sort of mirror the hips. So here, going around, out of my sacroiliac, distributing across here and down, and then around. Yeah. So down the spine, really open that sacroiliac, and then let it come back down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. So just feel the spirit. To get it to leave the vertical and come out, something in you has to really mean it. So your eyes swell. It's almost like you just get a bit excitable or angry. This is like the wings, yeah. So we're getting into the wings, the wings that come out of the sacroiliacs. There's ones that come out of the shoulders as well, but this is more for the sort of lower body. So 1, 2, way. Yeah, so this is yielding really. So yielding, if you like, I'm allowing the force to come into my body. I'm receiving the force, but then I use it. I engage with it and let it really charge me up, let it give me energy, rather than simply make a victim of me. So here, really round. 1, 2. Yeah, so when we use this sort of energy, this sort of spirit, it tends to make you a bit breathless. It's a bit like this, like your chi rises. This is what the Chinese would say. And so you have to struggle, keep tone here so that your chi doesn't rise, just the spirit fires up. Yeah, so we're trying to locate spirit really. Yeah, so can I just get an act of pure spirit? So keep everything else really calm and passive. And just let that spirit guide the movement. Ooh. Yeah, so when you do this bit, make sure you stay tight here to hold on to yourself. Yeah, so this is really, the energy that you'd use when you're doing the form. Yeah, so as you transfer the weight from leg to leg, instead of it just being a lump that's moving from here to here, you have to feel the pathways. How does it come up this leg and how does it come down this leg? Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. And then just feel how you're standing. Yeah. So there's something about spirit that is naturally excessive, that is naturally sort of exuberant and playful. Yeah. So it's using energy not for any sort of productive means, just for play. Yeah. So if I was just being totally efficient, then my weight would just come down here and down the legs. Yeah. But there's something about spirit that's always sort of branching out. It's always got these little curly cues and flowery bits. So in one sense, you are being really efficient. But in another sense, you're sprouting this detail all the time. And you just need to sort of just keep that in balance. So when you find it becoming a bit dull and a bit sort of heavy, then just look for the lightness, and the lightness will very quickly get you carried away. So you need to be coming back to that heaviness all the time. Yeah, so how do you allow spirit to guide everything? Okay, now let's just try those qigongs. Now we've got this sort of elastic connection with the ground. Okay, so just feel gravity pulling down. Feel the sacrum here. Feel the energy distributing out of the sacrum and down each leg. Yeah, so the sacrum splits your oneness, if you like, into your two-ness, into your two legs. And just feel if someone's came behind you and just put their hands lightly on your shoulders and just pressed a little bit. It doesn't have to be very much, just be the weight of their arms. Just feel how that spreads. Your legs will just bend just a little bit and push out into the outside edges. Okay, and now just feel that energy coming down the spine. And now just use that split from your sacrum to just send your hands out. So you want to feel it. So what they say is you want to feel, but without getting emotional. You think of the emotion, it just means to stir. So to create motion by stirring. Yeah, so we want to feel, but without disturbing what's inside, without disturbing the center. And so the head suspended, tongue on the roof of the mouth, this a little bit tight, coccyx heavy, tightness in the perineum a little bit. And just feel it splitting across here. So that sort of force passing through you and down into the legs. Ooh. It's like two spoons that go out and just gather chi. 1, 2. It's a bit like meditating in a storm. So imagine all this movement around you. It's like the crazy turbulent storm and you're just really still in the middle. So the more movement you get around yourself, the more you have to sort of really focus here. Yeah, so this is your belly expanding to send the arms out, and now your belly starts contracting to pull the hands in. So it's all from that basic breathing of your dantian. Pulling the dantian, pushing the dantian, pulling. Yeah, so it's not really two phases, pull and push, that follow each other. It's more like they're both there all the time. The balance is just changing. So this is a little bit more pushing than pulling, but the pulling is still there. So that it's really easy just to get it to take over. This is, you need a really sort of mind on the job for this. We're so used to taking holidays, taking breaks. This is just pure continuity, if you can get that. So pushing, and then the pulling just takes over, but the pushing is still there, and then the pushing. Yeah, so if they're both not continuous, then you have to restart one, and that always takes time. Yeah, I always say, the biggest embarrassment for the martial artist is to have to say the words, "I was not ready." Yeah. And basically, in order to be ready, you just have to be in fight mode all the time. So you just have to have these two tensions working against each other all the time. Pulling, but the pushing is still there. Then the pushing just emerges out of the pull. And just feel the lag. So here I'm already pulling before the hands come in. So the hands are the last thing to move. The first thing to move physically is your belly, your dantian area. So this is yielding, if you like, drawing in, and then this will be the attack mode. Let's just try a little bit of just alternating. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a pure alternation, but just this feeling that it's a little bit of wobble, almost like it's getting out of control. Okay. And then just billow. So like you're expanding into this, like there's a pressure inside that's pushing you out against your boundaries. But there's also a tension here that's drawing you in all the time. Okay. And now just dipping down. So now just bringing the energy up. So this one's important because it gets the perineum and your bum sort of tightening, which is very important. So feel it splitting across the across the hips. Yeah, so what do you do to actually get the energy to come up? Yeah, there's something about the muscles in the legs that sort of tighten around the bone. And then this has to really kick in, pulling your bum up. Yeah, so all the muscles should feel taut, like elastic, like you've stretched elastic, especially this one. Okay, now let's just try a few coming all the way up, but just try and be honest. You really tighten the bum, pull the rectum right up, all the way to the top of the head, and then slowly release that. Don't let it just fall, and really keep control. So pulling, and then just slowly. And now just back out again. Yeah, so that feeling of having both phases there all the time. So the pulling and the pushing already ready to push out. That should be in your breathing as well. Yeah. So it's like you're breathing in all the time and you're breathing out all the time. It's just that the breathing in is a bit stronger than the breathing out. And then when the breathing out happens, it's already there. You don't need to start it. Now, this is really difficult because it requires a muscularity. It requires the muscles to be retrained. So this is what they call abdominal breathing. And so rather than it just being the diaphragm, it's the muscles in the belly. So you pull the belly right in to breathe out, like you're doing this phase, and then you let it spring back and the air starts coming in. And then it's like you're just stretching a piece of elastic, never letting it relax, never letting it get so tense it's possibly going to snap. So you're always operating within a range. Okay, so let's try this one next. Just open, closed, remember? So this is the breathing one. So breathing out, pulling the belly in, breathing in, letting the belly come out. Yeah, so it's like you have to push the belly out whilst you're still trying to pull it in. And then here you're pulling the belly in against an internal pressure that's trying to push it out. So the way I do it with my students when we're together, I just get them to lean forwards with my fist on their down chair. Yeah, so they have to have if they're just relaxed there, then my fist will go through and hit their spine and it's really painful. So they have to push into their belly to create a springiness, but they also have to hold on to create a sort of, almost like a sort of hardness in the muscles. So you've got this pressure out, but you've got the skin of the bladder that's containing that. So we're just trying to bring a bit of life into the skin of the dantian, if you like. So pulling the belly in, pushing the belly out, and just feel the two different spirits involved in the pull and the push. So when I pull in, it's like I'm just going in, you know, I'm quite sort of sneaky. Yeah? And then when I come out, I just let something release, yeah, but then back in. So the two different spirits, they're very different. And this, if you send, in a sense, that's what's tiring. It's switching from one to the other. Push. Pull. Yeah, so this would be like the wrestling phase when you're drawing the person into a grip. And then this would be the boxing phase where you're issuing your energy out. So here you're pulling and hugging, drawing things into yourself. And then here you're emitting. And so it really is like the play between these two different modes. It's taken me years to get this. It's like you think, you know, when we come out of the womb, the first thing we do is take a breath. And then we continue getting it wrong for the rest of our life. But I mean, that first breath of the baby tends to be really sort of intense. You know, so it's like they're breathing just with their whole body. You know, that first breath, you've never breathed with your lungs before. You've always breathed with your dantian when they're in the womb. So they're pulling the belly in and out all the time to get the nutrients to and from the mother through the umbilical. So you can think of that. You can think of you sort of pulling something down a tube and then pushing your waste products back out. So you're breathing with the dantian rather than the lungs. The lungs are like a byproduct. They're there for the ride, pulling in. Yeah, and then whatever we do, no matter how strange it feels, we're just trying to find a way of getting that to happen naturally. What's the sort of natural mind that would encourage that action? And it's basically a quiet mind. So when your mind is just naturally quiet, this is what we want to try and cultivate, a mind whose natural state is quietness. And that's the way it should be. We're not meant to be neurotic. It's actually really nice if you just make noises. It's what John told me, that Dr. Chi and Chairman Ching, when they used to practice together, according to Dr. Chi, they'd just be making sounds all the time, you know, a bit like Bruce Lee was doing his sort of kung fu sounds. But theirs was more like a deep rumble. And so the more vibration you can get inside the body as you're working, the better. So you're trembling with the exertion and with the sounds you're making, with the impact of the environment upon the body. Pull. And then it's just up to you, just how tight you have these two forces. If they're really tight, you're having to really pull to actually go against the other one, then really push to go against the pull. Then you just generate a higher level of intensity. And so it's up to you how hard you work. But what they always recommend is start soft. Start soft and gentle, and you just see where it goes. Just give it time. Pull. Push. You just have to be careful you don't rupture something. John gave himself a hernia doing the reverse breathing. Okay, let's just come back to here. Yeah, so when you work hard, the mind just naturally quietens down. You don't have, you just realize what a waste of energy it is to be nabbering away to yourself constantly. And so you just don't have that energy anymore. You're just washed out. So really settled and sunk and just pleasantly tired, the way you would be if you just got back from a run. Okay, now let's try the one where we reach forwards. So just, again, this is just, it's really an act of spirit. So how do you greet that person? You want to greet them as a warrior would greet another warrior. You're not quite sure whether it's going to become a fight or a friendly chat. So there's a certain sense of vigilance. Yeah, so this would be pushing the belly out and extending your heart a little bit. And then this is just withdrawing that to let the person come in. So use the muscle in the dantian, sucking the dantian in, pushing the danchen out. Yeah, so just feel that, you know, everything that you do physically has to come from the danchen in some way. Squeeze and pull. Okay, and then so feel this. Feel the coccyx hanging down. Yeah, so the longer we work, the more this break heals, if you like. So the legs sort of creep up into the upper body and the upper body seeps down into the legs. So you almost feel as though this is collapsing a little bit, you know, like you're really stacked down into your lower spine. Okay, and now let's just try up and down a bit, just to connect to the heavens, because we tend to neglect that one. Yeah, so just concentrate on the lower back, because when you send the arms up, so just really feel the heavy coccyx at that point. So make sure you're not using tension to keep the bum in, just the visualization of a heavy coccyx should be enough. Yeah. Heavy, 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 heavy. Yo. Yeah, so what we're trying to feel here is the mind or the spirit taking the hands up whilst the body is just really just trying to relax down. And so how are the arms going up when I'm just trying to relax? There's some part of my mind that's just allowing them to be drawn upwards. Like there's a pull from above and I'm just connecting with that. And then I just reconnect with gravity. Yes, again, it's like the Dan Chen. You've got the two phases, the pulling and the pushing. So here you've got the lifting, the heavy. So the levity. So this is like a lightness of spirit that's just lifting up through you. And then this is almost a bit sort of gloomy because it's just sinking. So again, two very different spirit phases. So this is, and then your eyes just soften as you accept this pull downwards. And then your eyes are sort of excited. And then you just let them soften. Yeah, so this would be like the attacking phase again. So that the really light spirit phase, and then this would be the yielding heavy phase. So here, what is it that's, whoa, just feel the quality of the energy that's lifting. And then feel this is sort of soft and thick. And this is just really light, delicate, but with a little bit of fire in it. Yeah. And then it becomes all sort of liquid and sort of. It looks good. Yeah, this is why we quieten the mind, so you can feel just how amazing spirit is, just how fine, and it's like grace, like what you'd imagine like divine grace would be like. Aha. Little sweetheart. Cool. That's it. So just make sure you sink as you send the hands up. Make sure the sacrum stays heavy, and especially the coccyx. So the heavy coccyx just swings the sacrum into like a vertical plane, which is, it's normally angled backwards a little bit at the bottom. So here. Okay, now let's just try the goblet of fire. So just reaching up. Just feel the symmetry in the body. So the arms and the legs have the same sort of shape. So your danchen with the legs are connecting to the earth, and your arms with the heart are connecting to the heavens. The earth is pulling you down, so your strength against that is bringing energy from the earth up. The heavens are drawing you upwards, spirit-wise, and your ability to hold on to yourself and not let yourself just die and float upwards is drawing energy from the heavens down into you. And so the energy of the heavens is coming here, energy of the earth is coming here. And so it's really important to keep these two connected. Yeah, so if you let the back flick out, if you let this happen, then they sort of lose that. So again, there's like a piece of elastic holding the heart and the belly together that's always a little bit taut. And just try not to look up. It's like you've got a meat hook, you know, those meat hooks that's hooked under here into the head, and you're sort of just being pulled up. So it's very much like it's from the occiput rather than the crown. When you feel it, so the neck is really being stretched. Yes, and to make that proper connection with the ground, you need to really relax across the sacrum, so across here. And to make the proper energy with the heavens, you need to relax across here. So it's like the sternum and the sacrum are like mirrors. They're like the two mirrors of a periscope. Yeah, so it's just a posture for separating out spirit and body. Body sinking, spirit rising. And just then you have to become really sort of strong to hold the two together. Yeah, so all the time just trying to relax the shoulders. Just feel as though someone's pulling your fingers up, your middle fingers, but you're just relaxing against that. Wow, hurts. It's good, isn't it, that we've found a way of making the arms hurt as well as the legs. Okay, now just imagine there's like a balloon hanging from the ceiling with a string. Just reach up and just pull the string down. Yeah, so you're holding the string of the balloon, and the balloon is now here. So your head is the balloon, it's empty. It's just full of a lightness that's wanting to ascend. It's not weighed down by thinking. Or by having what the Buddhists call mental formations. It no longer even has to create images from the sense perceptions it's receiving. So even seeing objects is no longer necessary. It's just colors and shapes, And when it gets too much, you just close your eyes. Okay, very good. So let's just bring the hands to the dantian. Pull the hands in a little bit, like you're squeezing your dantian a bit, and just feel how that really earths you, brings you back to reality, really. We always tend to drift off a little bit into sort of bad aspects of mind when we work. Okay, very good. See if we can move now. Ugh.